Morning all. Sorry, just taking a sip of my breakfast. How are we all doing? Sorry, I'm always late on a Thursday. Only 3 minutes though, so not too bad. So I get back from the gym. Anyway, I'm here. What was I just about to do? Say hello to everybody. Morning, Christian, Andres, Amy, Peter, Kennelly, Evans, Jerry, Francesco, Baggy, Mac, and Virginia. How are we doing? All good? I haven't had a chance to look at the charts or anything, so we will whiz straight into it. Gap up on the DAX, which is in process of getting filled. Didn't really go anywhere yesterday, did we? So yeah, just sideways on that at the minute. We've had Australian dollar news this morning. Morning, Lucas, Zico, Ciao. The Aussie unemployment rate was as expected, 3.7. So no news there. Whipsaw on the Aussie. Nothing exciting happened. The CPI yesterday obviously didn't do anything. Very weird at the moment. This market is just not going anywhere. It doesn't seem to be any news that can move this market at the minute. It is just totally stuck. Where is my terminal? There. That one. That's that one. That's that one. Where's the icon gone for that terminal? Oh, there. Sorry, I'm just rearranging stuff. I've got this running a back test still. It's nearly there. 1142 out of 1200 permutations run. It's got an hour to go. So I'm just going to minimize that for a minute. Bank 0.35 yesterday. That was the Canadian I banked yesterday. US dollar CAD short. So I got out of that one and that one just before the CPI figure. So got whipsawed on it. That was my initial target for those positions. So it would have hit target if it hadn't whipsawed me, but I wanted to protect the money. So I got out of that yesterday with a 0.35. Nothing else is really moving. I'm still long on pound US dollar. I've still got the aggressive drawdown control position on the pound US dollar here, which I took yesterday there on the whipsaw. It's a weird reaction for a positive CPI figure, I have to say. I would have expected a little bit more movement off of that. We had hardly any ADRs yesterday. No ADRs today. No weekly ranges hit. No monthly ranges hit. It's just not moving. Nothing is moving at the minute. RSIs, we've got a few 4 hours, which has just about got into extension, but that's about it. So it's really crap at the minute. Totally sideways, this thing. Gap's just about to get filled on the DAX. But anyway, morning, Roman. Hi. Today, EU interest rate. Yep, we'll look at the news. Morning, Mr. Lunary. Sleepy morning. Morning, Stevie. Morning, all the milkman's not calling today, is he? Morning, all the milkman's not calling today, is he? The milkman's not calling today. You're going to have to explain that one, day trader. I don't understand that one. So today, unemployment change and unemployment rate, very little impact on the Aussies. So if we look at the Aussies, we've had a push up, a complete retracement. Push up, complete retracement. Yeah, so push up, push down, back where we started. So no news on the Aussie dollar. The main news today, window cleaner yesterday. Sorry, yes. Yeah, for those of you that were in the stream yesterday afternoon, my window cleaner came and scared the life out of me while I was on the stream. Started cleaning the windows. So yeah, could be the milkman. We don't have milkman anymore. Where's a milkman? So main news today, 115 is the euro rate. 4.25 is the forecast. We may get a 4.5. They've been talking about a 4.5, but the way it's going at the moment, I suspect a 4.25 and some weakness on the euro. But we could get a 4.5, and I still suspect some weakness on the euro. But anyway, we'll see what happens. No idea what that's going to be today. It could be anything. The half an hour after that, Lagarde holds the ECB press conference. This is where the market moves. So this will give you a whipsaw. This will give you the direction. Basically, the press conference is where she lays out the forward guidance for interest rate policy moving forward for the next month to quarter. So this will give the market an indication of where they should be going with the euro, whether they should be buying it or whether they should be selling it, or whether or not she doesn't give any guidance because she doesn't know, which is what the Fed usually does, and we just don't go anywhere. So we'll see. But that's where we will get the move started this afternoon. So bear in mind this afternoon's New York session, we might have a lot of movement on the US indices before that as well. So we've got the unemployment claims coming out for the US, we've got the retail sales, and we've got PPI coming out at 1:30. So from 1:15 to 2 o'clock today, the whole market is going to move on the euro and the US dollar. The two largest currencies are going to get massive news events that could be fundamentally shifting them. So the New York session this afternoon, if we've put in a very big move before that New York bell goes at 2:30, you'll find the market won't have any liquidity left and it will be a very tight session. So it's your choice whether you trade it, but it can be very tricky when you've got news coming out beforehand. So we're just about to kick in on the DAX. 16 seconds. So we haven't quite got the gap fill. We're still playing this gap fill long, but at the moment it isn't going anywhere, is it? So we're just going sideways at the minute. We came off a double bottom yesterday from the weeklies. Markets open. Initial move is to the downside. I'm short the DAX. So gap fill is the first danger to the downside. We've got that low there, but yesterday's low is there. Yeah, so yesterday's low is beyond 2R. So that would be my target for a bounce. That is a second bounce already. That's a double bottom. So this is basically a descending wedge that we're trading into at the moment, which is bearish. So if we can get this gap fill done and we don't get a bounce out of this area here and obviously rally up, that is where I would look for the bounce today, yesterday's low. So if we look at that on another chart that we can see further back, yeah, that's the double bottom bounce that we got there yesterday. So that was the last week's low and the 3-week low. We've got the monthly low down there as support. So today downside, we're looking at the New York close. We're looking at the low of the yesterday and the low of the week and the low of the 3-week. And if that breaks, we're looking at ADR and monthly lows for downside potential. Upside, we'd just be looking at yesterday's high initially and then ADR, which is that propulsion gap. So there's lots of room in both directions today. Gap fill is the first stop. So all we've done is triggered a short at the minute. So we'll see where that goes. Morning, Kennelly. Window cleaner. I had the same problem yesterday when my chauffeur came to wash my car. Oh, did you now? Very posh. What, are you Greg Secker's wife as a spy? Morning, Daniel. Greg Secker doesn't have a chauffeur, does he? He drives his own roller. Anyway, watch this area. Not exactly setting the world on fire today, is it? So obviously movement is going to be restricted this morning until 1:15 because obviously the market isn't going to want to put a lot of money into any speculative movement basically ahead of the rate announcement. You're not going to suddenly buy a load of stocks when you think, actually I can buy them at a different rate later because the euro is going to fly up or down. Yeah. So there's not going to be a huge amount of movement in the markets at all this morning, I wouldn't imagine. So we might find the DAX just kind of goes into a rotation this morning. So it might be a tricky one. If I can get a grand or so out of this morning, what I might do, because the speed, look at the speed of this thing, just not moving. I think I'd be happy taking a 1R on this today, to be honest. Or maybe just protecting it because I don't think we're going to get a lot of movement by the looks of things, are we? We'll see. Might be one of those surprising sessions where it just grinds away really slowly. But there's no volume this morning at all. So it looks like we're doing the gap fill. So that's pretty much gap fill complete. See if we can fill that propulsion gap, but that's the gap fill done. I don't really fancy this morning, to be honest. Fine with the idea of shutting this down. We'll come back to that. I'll keep an eye on it. Excuse me, on my other platform. We'll come back to that. It's not going anywhere at the moment. So mornings like this, you just think, if I can walk away without getting hedged on it or taking any loss, it's probably not a bad idea, is it? But it has closed bearish. The thing that worries me is they have tapped straight into that gap look. So business is complete. It's whether or not there is actually any sellers in that move. So if we break that low, I think we might get a flush down, at least down to there, in which case then I can take that off down there. I think it might be pushing it to get to 2R today, but we'll see. I'll monitor it. We'll come back to it in a minute. Right. So there's not a lot to analyze today. There's no ADRs, not much we can look at. Morning, AZ. So yeah, there's nothing to look at on ADRs, as you would expect, and as it's going to be a quiet London session because we're waiting for the news. I don't think we're going to get any ADRs this morning, so we will get some ADRs this afternoon, obviously, when all this news has come out. So you have got some RSI extensions we can have a look at. So I'll go through the positions that I've got on at the moment, and then we'll have a look at the RSI extensions. But if there's anything you want to have a look at, let me know, and I will have a look at it. Aussie dollar CAD, got long on that at the moment already. So this is yeah, so I'm going through my positions. I was going to say that's not an RSI extension. This was an H1 RSI extension from, where the hell did I get into this? There. That's the entry there. So that was the entry on that push down, H1 M5 mean reversion entry. We have literally gone sideways since. To be honest, I can't be bothered with it. I'm going to close it. There's no point in holding this position. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days into this position. It isn't going anywhere. RSI is completely reset. There's just no point in staying in this trade because the odds of this going up or down from here are exactly the same now. They're 50-50. Here, we were looking for the banks to pull back on it. They did pull back on it. They did a 50% retracement on the move look. But that wasn't enough for me to make any money on it, and I didn't take it off. So there's no point in being in the trade anymore. So I'm shutting that down completely. There's no point. That could go absolutely anywhere now. Yeah, you know, there's no bias on it. There's no reason to be in it. So I'm out. Aussie dollar, US dollar. Got multiple positions on this one. Very much the same. We just put a new lower low in on DAX, so it is on its way. So that was the initial position on that H1 RSI extension back at the end of July. We had one more drop during August, and then obviously we had August trading, completely sideways, gone absolutely nowhere. I've had a couple of opportunities to exit this, which I haven't taken. All I have done on this one is bank 3 times. So that entry there, took it off, added it back on, took it off, added it back on, took it off. So very nice profit on it. Added it back on, still in it. I literally need an ADR and a half up. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. Just can't do it. Yeah, nothing's moving. I'm really hoping we get a load of negative PMI and negative unemployment today, and this US dollar collapses, and then we can finally get some movement. I was hoping the Aussie might get some decent figures today. That hasn't helped either. So, it's just nothing you can do, is there? We're literally sitting here waiting for the market to actually start up again. It's completely stalled out. Euro US dollar. I've been in this again. It's the only euro exposure I've got on. I got into it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Still in it. It's not going anywhere. So this is a dangerous one today because we're in a trade on it. Well, I'm in a trade on it long from the H1 RSI extension, but we're not going anywhere. This massive move down is pretty orderly. If you look at it from a market structure perspective, it's not doing too bad as market structure. But this entire rally down here, which is where we've had this slight US dollar strength, which we weren't expecting, could do with a proper pullback. So I'm unsure as to whether to hold this. I've been thinking about this one this morning. Funny what you think about on a spin bike. I was thinking, what's that euro going to do today? It's obviously a crappy track. But if this euro has negative news today, if they come out as a freeze on the interest rates and Lagarde comes out and says, we don't think we're going to need to do any more interest rates, the market is going to devalue that euro. They're going to scale out because they're expecting increases. So that's going to devalue the euro. If the PMI figures come out as positive and unemployment drops in the US is going to get a little bit of a rally. You would expect, although we would expect the US to rally on CPI yesterday. It didn't. So there is a possibility, I think, today of this coming down. And when you look at where we can potentially go now on this, we're at the point where we've kind of been sideways on this thing now since January, the entire year. We haven't gone anywhere on this. If it breaks down through that low and we get a hit below 150 ADR today, next stop is down there. And if that is going to happen, this is a continuation of this move. If that level breaks, we're off. There's nothing to stop this from dropping. So I'm just concerned I don't want to get into another pound US dollar, because what I'm in with the pound US dollar is a controlled grind. Yeah, basically got into it there in the middle of July, and we've just ground ever so slightly slowly like that, and we're not stopping. What I don't want to do is get into the euro US dollar, which is pretty much the same thing as that. Again, because I'm doubling my exposure on exactly the same move, which is this is all being caused by this grinding US dollar strength and everything else having no strength at all. So for me, it doesn't make sense to hold the euro US dollar at the moment. What I'm going to do, I'm just trying to think of what I want to do on it, really, to be honest. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a stop loss on it. If this holds up above my entry today, and then we do get a positive move of the euro, fine, I'll happily to keep it. If it drops down before that, takes me out, fine. If the news goes negative, takes me out, fine. I'm going to take a tiny loss on it. In fact, I might extend that loss a little bit. 0.1%. I mean, I don't even want to be honest. I don't really want to be in it. I should shut it, but I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. Half of this game is luck. Yeah. If this just hovers like this for the entire morning, and then at 1:15, that rate comes out at 4.5, we go pop. And then Lagarde says, actually, we're going to need a 4.5. Bang, we're off. So I might as well, that's my risk. My reward is pretty much endless. Obviously, that propulsion gap is my first target, which is my only target because I only got one position on. So I might as well stick it up at 225 ADR. Yeah, you never know. I'm getting out of this DAX as well. I'm going to give this candle, I'm going to wait for this candle to close. 2 minutes. We've just put in a higher high and a higher low. And we filled the propulsion gap. I can see that happening this morning, or worse still, that happening this morning. That locks in a loss. So this is not moving fast enough for me today. I'm just going to get out and call it a day on the DAX, I think. I'm going to give it 1 minute, and I'm going to take either a small win or a small loss. Or if it pushes down, I'm going to take $1,000. But it's not going anywhere, is it? Oh, that's the TP. I've got no stop losses, have I? Idiot. 156.39. Okay. I'm just protecting it. There's no point in trying to push this today. Either it's, there we go. Right, so either that propulsion gap is going to hold and we have got some sellers in the market and we can make a rally down into this low. I'll take it there. That'll be $2,000. I'll either take $2,000 or I'll walk away today. There's not enough volume in the market to actually push this today. Walk away with 1,300 now. I'll leave it. I'll let it go. See what happens. Meh. So yeah, this market is, you can probably tell from my mehing, this is what the market's like at the minute. It's so hard. It's like pulling teeth trying to get money out of this thing at the moment. So yeah, so that's my decision on the euro US dollar. I'll either get stopped out with $38 loss on this, which is absolutely nothing. Why have I taken $14 loss today? Aussie CAD. Oh, that's because I just closed the Aussie CAD, wasn't it? Yeah. So yeah, that's the swap basically. So yeah, that's the euro US dollar. The pound US dollar, I'm in. I've got multiples on. I've got aggressive drawdown control on. I can't do anything about this. I'm in it. So I'm hoping for negative news today on the US dollar, and the US dollar CAD I've got on as well. So I've got sells on the US dollar CAD. Got out of 2 of those yesterday. If we push back up into propulsion, I will add again. So that's the current highest position I've got. I will add again up here and then hope that we continue that push down. My average is around about 125 ADR today. So I'm just looking basically for US dollar weakness. We've got a good chance of Canadian dollar strength because oil is rallying very nicely at the moment. So there's a very good chance that this is going to drop. We need negative news on the US dollar. All we need is a little bit negative PMI or a little bit negative unemployment, but we'll get some movement. As you can see from yesterday, yeah, we had positive CPI figures. Typically, when you get a positive CPI figure, even if it's 0.1%, you get a massive move, because it puts inflationary pressure on and it puts interest rates up. And what we got yesterday was a big positive and absolutely no movement on the US dollar. Look at the move on the US dollar CAD, right? That's the CPI figure. It pushed up and immediately rejected and dropped on positive news. Think what's going to happen to this when we get negative news. It's coming down. So I'm just waiting for some negative news to come out. Unfortunately, the US dollar seems to be grabbing hold and holding on to positives constantly at the moment, but we'll see. So so that's where I am. That's my positions at the moment. I can't get anything else on because it's not moving. Therefore, I'm not getting any extensions. You can't mean revert if nothing extends. So we're stuck. A little bit like the DAX. We're stuck. If I close that, it's going to drop. I've got $1,800 sitting there, and if I close it, it will go. I know it will. So I'm going to hold it. Just for you guys, because if you're still short on it, if I close it, it will drop. Mind you, if I close it, it will drop and you'll all make money, won't you? I'm going to leave it. Right. Let's look at the H4 extensions. Euro New Zealand range has saved my week. You've been trading that up and down, have you? Down, up, down, up, down. Mr. Lunary, I love Euro US dollar, making me cry from all the waiting. Yeah, it's just I can't be bothered with it anymore. Either go or don't. Teasing, isn't it? Morning, Keith. How is it in Robo Forex? One lot is 10 contracts. How is it in Robo Forex? One lot is 10 contracts. How it is in Robo Forex. It's what it is. You're trading in CFD with your broker. Your broker can decide what a tick is, what a contract is, what a lot is, everything. You know, you're trading a CFD. You're not trading a futures contract. Just is what it is. That's why you have to backtest stuff so that you know what movement you need. This is why everything I build, when I build my products, everything I build has the option to risk a percentage of your account. Yeah. Either risking a monetary amount or a percentage of your account when you take a trade, because the EA automatically calculates it. DAX is dropping. So you don't have to worry about lots or anything. My products just go, how much do you want to risk on this trade? $500. Okay, there you go. And it just puts the trade in for you, so you don't have to think about it. Close it so mine can drop. Well, I think I've just, it's gone anyway, so. Well, I'm going to watch this now because if this does start to pull back now and it doesn't hit my TP, I'm just going to close it. I'm not getting greedy on this today. It might drop, excuse me, but that is possibly going to act as a support. It's not a great support, that, because this is just end of day. So all this is people closing positions end of day. There you go. So hit that. 2 grand banked, 2 grand runner. So TP2, I'm not going to go 5. No way. 2.5, I think I'd be lucky. I'll go for 3. We'll see if we can get a double bottom bounce on it, basically, from yesterday's low. I'll either get stopped out, break even on it, or we'll get a double bottom bounce at yesterday's low, I reckon, today. I'm quite surprised, actually, it's gone as far as it has today. That's a pretty good move, considering we've got interest rate decision at 1:15 this afternoon. Quite surprised we've actually got that. So I'll take it. Oh my God. Work. Cool. Okay. Just adjust my TP on this account as well. Right. So, can you analyze the NASDAQ? This afternoon, NASDAQ come back at 220. We trade the NASDAQ in the afternoon. There's no point in looking at the NASDAQ this morning. We are in the Globex session. Yeah. Market doesn't move during Globex. It does, but not a lot. Yeah. No movement. Come back at 220 for the opening bell. Right, Aussie dollar Swiss. H4 RSI extension. Marginally. So we've got the 30 extension. We had a 30 extension there. Sorry, 70 extension there again. This is the 2-week high. We tapped into it last week. We're just up there again. It's the longest flag in the world, basically. This is obviously bearish. The Swiss franc runs with the euro, and it's always going to be stronger at the moment than the Aussie because the Aussies have really screwed up their inflation and interest rates. But the Swissies had no movement, as you can see, over the last 3 or 4 weeks either. So we are just pulling back. So it's not a great RSI extension. You know, when we're looking at RSI extensions, we're looking for big, strong pushes by banks that need profit take moves. This is not a big, strong push by the bank. It's like 4-hour candles that have gone up. And because the relative strength, the beauty of the RSI is it measures the relative strength of the movement over a period of time. So if ADR contracts and moves, and then you get a push up, the RSI will still get extended, even though that move to get an RSI extension there in the past, it may have needed to move that much to get an RSI extension, because RSI moves on the relative strength, which is to do with the average daily range of the instrument as well. So the beauty of ADR is even in tight market, RSI rather, even in tight markets, it will measure the strong moves, and the strong moves are just going to be smaller than normal. We're still in, at the moment, what I would call summer trading. We haven't had any volatility yet. It's the middle of September. Normally by now the market's kicked off. ADRs are flying off all over the place. This dashboard, normally in September, is lit up like a Christmas tree. ADRs all over the place. 225s, 175s. You know, this is lit up like a Christmas tree, because and weekly ranges we're hitting like Mondays and Tuesdays, because the market's been contracted for 4 weeks. Therefore, all these numbers are lower than they normally are for the rest of the year. When you get a move that is normal market movement, it's usually double what we've had for the last 4 weeks. We're not getting any. So, you know, this movement up isn't what I would class as something I really want to short at the moment. It needs to get above the 80 level, really. So looking at the RSI dash, I would be more inclined to take anything that lights up the entire 3 columns. And, you know, if we're up at the 80-20s, yeah, that's a big move. But you're going to take a news event to do that. And the news, as we know at the moment, is just not moving this market at all. We're just bouncing off that low on the DAX. So watch that high. We have just double topped that high. We've got that tiny propulsion gap there. So if it breaks above there, and you want to take that, do it. Do you know what? I might even lock that in. Just because it's another grand and this is so slow today. We might get one of those tiny, just like I've got no power cascades where there's just nobody wanting to buy anything today, in which case fine. But that has come straight off. So we have had limit orders trigger at the low there. But as I said, that's not a strong support, because that is literally the last half an hour of trading where there is no trading. So this is kind of a little flag on that there. So it's not really a support. It's just where everybody got out of their positions at the end of last night. That's your proper support there. So hence having TP2 down there. So yeah, there's Aussie Swiss. CAD Swiss, pretty much the same thing. This is a much nicer movement though, look. And we've got a bit of divergence on the RSI here. So the RSI is flat. We're making new higher highs in price. That's bearish divergence at the 72 moving average as well. So this isn't a bad short. We've got this move really from here all the way up to there, or really from there, actually more the way up to there, where we haven't had a profit take on it yet. So it's due a 50% pullback. You're looking at somewhere in the region of 40 pips. So around about an ADR you could get out of that. So if you want to drop down to lower time frames like M5 and wait for reversal alert on that, the reversal alert support rectangle is on top of the last reversal alert. That tells you we are just going sideways. This market is dead. So if you get that reversal alert, it could just carry on doing the same thing. But when you get that, there is a good chance of a pullback on this move. Yeah. So we're looking for a pullback from this low, possibly from this low, actually. More likely this one. 50%, which is ADR. So one ADR drop. Go DAX. I'm very surprised. Pleasantly surprised, but surprised nonetheless. So we're off target by the looks of things. So that's CAD Swiss. So that is a better extension. But look at the RSI. I mean, it is just coiled up. Yeah, this is a nice RSI extension. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. That push, profit take, push, profit take, sort of, you know, big, strong push, profit take, big RSI extensions. This crap, not conducive to trading. Pound New Zealand. This has been rallying, as you can see, for absolutely ages. Last entries I had on this were here on the H1 RSI extension. This was also a 4-hour. Nice little trade out. So nice little position trade. We are pulling back into the 24.72. That CPI figure that we had coming out on the pound, which wasn't as strong as we wanted it to be, has really killed the momentum. This pound hasn't got anywhere in the last 3 weeks, which is surprising. We've been promised, we initially were promised another 0.75% increase by end of year. They reduced that down to 0.5, but there's now talk of us just having a 0.25 by end of year and next month being the only one. So they have really put the brakes on the interest rate rises on the pound. We're getting to the point now where we're hitting terminal rate on, we should be hitting terminal rate on most things. And the pound obviously is one of those where we have just yesterday, this is a quarterly figure, but we had a month-on-month negative GDP figure. So the economy is now contracting much faster than anticipated, meaning that we've overshot this too quick, and it hasn't had the impact we wanted on inflation. So it leaves our government or our bank basically in a very dicey situation. Unemployment is going up. Interest rates need to go up more because inflation isn't coming down fast enough. However, it's now contracting our GDP, and we've got a housing bubble starting to burst. Housing prices in the UK are dropping 1 to 1.5% a month at the moment. That housing market collapses, house prices will start to fall. When that comes down, it's going to be positive, but it's putting the pressure on the Bank of England now to not put that up anymore, which is negative pound. So we've got this real break cable hit us at the moment on the pound. So this is nicely extended to the downside. Ordinarily, I would have a long bias on this. There's no bias on the New Zealand dollar. They've screwed it up the same way as the Aussies have. So you're reliant on the pound being the one in control at the moment. And as you can see, there's not really any movement. So I don't see a problem taking this in either direction at the moment, the pound. I still am a little bit more bullish on it than bearish, and this is exactly where you want to take a trend bounce, isn't it? 24.72. That's where we bounce in trends. Yeah. Bounce off the 24. If it doesn't hold, we bounce off the 72. 24, 24, 24, 24, 24, 24, 24. Doesn't hold, 72. So there's a little bit more downside, another 125 ADR to the downside. That should be it, and then we should start a rally. So that could all happen today off the back of the news. But yeah, so that's an RSI extension on the 4 hours. There's a positive one you can take there. New Zealand dollar Swiss. This is the same as the Aussie Swiss. Yeah, Aussie Swiss moves. The Aussie moves with the New Zealand dollar. So when you get rallies on the Aussie, you get rallies on the New Zealand and vice versa. So if you're trading Aussie Swiss, you're pretty much trading New Zealand Swiss as well. So New Zealand Swiss, very much the same as I said with the Aussie Swiss. This is a little bit better technically because you've got that weekly high from 2 weeks ago, which we've tapped into, paused at, and it looks like we're rejecting. So that is actually a slightly better RSI extension. But look at the extension. It's on that move. So what could you expect out of it? Maybe 50%. It's more of a scalp, isn't it? So even these RSI extensions are just not very good. DAX is rejecting. We've got some buyers stepping in still. Look, yeah, buyers, big wicks, buyers. So I suspect I'll be getting out there. I think we've got to think ourselves lucky we managed to get what we got out today on the DAX. I wasn't even expecting to get a nice little sell move like that. So I'm happy with that. That's it. I've got nothing else to look at. It ain't moving. Let me catch up on the chat. Hello, I found your channel and your website. One question. Are the videos Position Trading Bootcamp up to date? And is it still advisable to start with all the videos and understand position trading? Yes. It's as up to date as it can be. So if what you need to do on the website, Patrick, if you haven't already, is click on this link, Position Trading Handbook. Yeah. That's a PDF file, and it gives you all of my content and what order to consume it in. So as it says, all the important stuff to watch, read, and in what order to do it. Yeah. So it just takes you through PDFs to read, videos to watch, and the order I reckon you should watch them in. And obviously then going through the Position Trading Bootcamp. and then come and watch the live rooms. So you're ahead of yourself. But yeah, it's all on the website still. There's nothing to update. Position trading is position trading. Position trading is a methodology. I give you all the strategies that I personally use using RSI extensions and market reversal alerts. You can use any mean reversion strategy you want. You can use my EA to completely automate everything, or you can build your own EA. You can trade it manually. You can do what you like with it. It's up to you. You don't have to buy anything. It's all up there for free. If you want the EAs and the indicators, I charge for those because I have to support them. That's it. So, but you can trade any strategy with position trading methodology. Yeah, any mean reversion strategy. If you've got something where you have an indicator that tells you there's been a strong move, i.e. a Bollinger Band, for example. Yeah. Extension above a Bollinger Band, that is a mean reversion strategy. This works with position trading. Very simple. You remove the stop loss and you scale in. That's it. So you can trade any strategy you like. So there's no such thing as being up to date. It's a way of trading, a style of trading. Like you have trend trading, mean reversion trading, breakout trading. There's only 3 ways you can enter the market: on a breakout, on a mean reversion, or on a trend. Yeah, that's it. You don't have any other ways of trading. It's one of those 3. You pick a time frame that is comfortable with you based on how you trade, whether you are a scalper, whether you can be in front of the charts all day. Out of the DAX, second position, 1R. So kind of roughly 1.5 and 3/4, about 2 and a bit ADR, 2 and a bit R. So $3,000 banked on the DAX. Yeah, so you can trade any strategy you like. You just need to pick a time frame. So if you work full time, which you don't because you're in here or you're having a day off, you can't trade 5-minute charts because you can't be in front of the charts. So you're going to need to trade H4. Therefore, H4, M15 extensions on RSI, or trade daily extensions with hourly entries or something like that. Yeah. So, but it's all in the bootcamp. Morning, Ms. Healthy FX. Morning, Gordy. Morning, Astro even. I have an Astro in the morning and an Outro in the afternoon. Retail charts guy is back to me every time I get in here. Nirav, good old Nirav, we love him. New Zealand Swiss, I can check that. I'm on it. I've just done it. Some rejection on the DAX, time to get out. Yeah, Peter, I'm out. So, wick rejection. This is limit orders triggering. So this is the sellers pushing price and limit orders triggering from buyers. The sellers having another go, limit orders triggering from buyers. The sellers going, okay, there's more buyers than there are sellers. We're going to get out and become buyers as well. Rejection. Straight up into the area the sellers started their move, where they add to their position and push the price back down again. Simple price action. Can you draw another rocket on the pound US dollar? I don't think it will make any difference, to be honest, today. You get a feeling when you're trading, you can't get this feeling until you've traded for about a decade, I don't think. I've never noticed it apart from the last sort of 3 or 4 years. You get this feeling where it's kind of like the Matrix. It's a deja vu feeling where you've been here before, and I've been in months like this before where I'm struggling to make a profit, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on? And I've been here before. These months end up as losses. And they end up as losses because I do stupid things because I'm trying to make money. And I'm getting one of those deja vu feelings at the moment. I've seen this price action before where the market just gets to a point where it doesn't matter if you go long or short. It just doesn't let you make money. And it forces you into making mistakes. This aggressive drawdown control position is too big for this price action. I should be in with less. Now I'm seeing it go negative. I'm thinking this is going to be a 2% loss because that US dollar is going to get positive news today and this thing's going to come down and then it's going to pop back up. It's going to do exactly what it did yesterday, but from a lower point, and just keep taking my money until I go, screw you, I'm getting out with the whole thing. I'm going to take a loss on the month and then it will go pop. I've done it over and over again so many times, and it's got this knack of forcing you into a corner where you don't know what you're doing. You doubt yourself so much, even though you've done it 1,000 times for many years. It's got this knack of forcing you into this position where you go, I haven't got a clue. And then you start doing something stupid and you start doubting your system, your strategy and everything. And this is where people system hop. They usually have this experience after a month or two. I've just got this deja vu feeling. I've been here before, and I've been in a live stream and said this before as well, because I've been doing live streams for years and years and years. Just feels to me like it's going to be one of those months. Last month, I was lucky to get away with 7% last month because the market didn't move. The middle of September with no movement is just unusual. I'm lucky this year I've got ORB. And ORB pretty much at the moment is paying the bills nicely as well. So, don't know. It just feels wrong at the moment, this market. Something's wrong. Something's really wrong. But what it is, it's one of those things, you know, you just can't put your finger on it. Something's not right. And usually when I get this feeling, you get something explosive happen. You just don't know what it's going to be and why, but something's going to happen. It's like the market is a scared little cat in the corner at the moment, and it's about to turn into a lion. It just needs a catalyst. It could be something like, you know, North Korea getting involved with Russia and escalating things. Something's going to happen, and this thing's going to go, and everything's going to go at the same time. It could be the Japan intervention that we're waiting for. But we're not going to get the Japan intervention unless we start rallying the US dollar, which hasn't happened for 4 weeks, is it? We're sideways. So, no, it just feels weird at the minute. I don't like it. I don't like it. Love from Guyana. Hello, Lisa. Lippy, on the DAX, do you use the pre-market high-low for the trading range or the market opening candle for the trading range, like you explained in the ORB video? So I don't use, so the ORB EA, we are literally interested in either the pre-market move or the 5-minute ORB, which is the initial cash balance, yeah? So that opening range high and low there is the 15-minute pre-market. That opening range 2, which is there, is the 5-minute opening range. That's what we call the cash balance. That's the initial influx of orders that comes in at the opening bell. It hasn't got a directional bias. It is just a volley of orders that need to be executed by the commercial desks in the banks. So it's like, right, bell's rung. Okay, just get that crap off your desk. Doesn't matter what price you get. It doesn't matter. You've just been told to execute a load of stock orders on behalf of pension funds, hedge funds, and corporations. Just get it off your desk. Now we'll start to make some money with the speculative orders. That's what the cash balance is, the initial cash balance. That pre-market range that you take, the advantage of the pre-market range trade is if the initial cash balance has a bias, long or short, you will get a big, strong move. Yeah. A la today, big strong break to the downside. You then have the opportunity to take the money there or to hope that that is part of a speculative move that will continue, which was today. So by getting in on the pre-market, and you can take the pre-market 5, the pre-market 10, the pre-market 15, the pre-market whatever you want. It's just got to be big enough, but not too big that you can make money out of it. Yeah. The pre-market high and low, so this new version of the EA that I'm building draws in the pre-market high and low. You're seeing this on the DAX, but this is more for use on the US indices, yeah? Because the DAX doesn't really have a pre-market. The DAX opens at 7 a.m. UK time for electronic exchange transactions, but the bell rings at 8 a.m. which is there. Yeah. So on the DAX, you really only get an hour of pre-market, and this doesn't really tend to do a lot most of the time. But on the US indices, this is what's called the Globex session. So this is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange's pre-market electronic trading period. So obviously the US is asleep at the moment, but the banks and institutions are executing live stock orders on the exchange. And this is what's called the Globex system. So if you look it up, Globex, you'll find all the information about it. And all it is an electronic exchange that the CME introduced to allow banks and institutions to trade 24 hours a day, pretty much. Yeah. So you can trade on Globex, but the volume is tiny. It's basically bot transactions. So what happens is the bots will build positions within Globex. So in the US session, the DAX is trying to drop again. In the US session, the Globex will have a high and a low. I almost called this the Globex high and the Globex low, but I decided to call it pre-market because some people might be trading things like the Japanese indexes and stuff, France 40, whatever. But basically, that's the Globex high and low. These highs and lows pre-market do hold weight because what's happening with the algorithms is they are buying and selling stock sectors during Globex, and they will form a range where they cannot find more orders. Yeah. So the bots turn and start moving the other way. So these do have a relevance in that there wasn't enough volume to push further than those areas. So these can have reactions, which is why they're on there. But you wouldn't trade the opening range off of the Globex because it's far too big. Look at the size of this thing. Yeah. The average daily range is 2756 on the Dow. This has put in 71 already, 710. Yeah. So when you're trading your initial break of a pre-market range, it's got to be tight enough so that you can put a stop loss there and get a nice risk reward on it. If you tried to trade that, yeah, if you wanted to get a 1-to-1 off of that, for example, at the moment, it's got to move all the way up there just to get you a 1-to-1, which is pretty much a break-even strategy, isn't it, with a 50% strike rate. So it's too big. But all we're looking for when we're trading is, where are we going? Yeah, we can't tell the direction that market's going to go. No one can. If you could do that, you'd be a billionaire, wouldn't you? Because if you could predict the future, you would just go the right way every time. Nobody knows on every single candle whether it's going to be a bullish or a bearish candle. We don't know if the break today is going to be bullish, bearish, or if it's going to be a rotation day. We haven't got a clue. So all we can do is look for clues as to where the market has found support and resistance previously. Globex highs and lows at the moment, which is the open in this case, is one of those levels. Previous day's highs and previous day's lows, yesterday's low, yesterday's high, are levels where the market was unable to buy above. There was no supply or demand at those levels. So we know that it will bounce there again. Look at the DAX yesterday. My trades yesterday on the DAX. Textbook example. Yeah. I traded the DAX yesterday down to, I said in the live room yesterday morning, the two scenarios that I said yesterday morning before the market opened was, we are going to move up to fill that gap and potentially bounce. And if we bounce from that gap, we're going to push down into the previous week's lows, which are these two lines here, and then we'll rally back from those. It did exactly that. This isn't me being super clever and cocky. This is me having seen this happen 1,000 times. This is why these lines are on the chart, because we know the market moves from support to resistance. So you have to know where those lines are. We know that the market spends 58% of its time within its average daily range. So you need to mark what the average daily range is, because when we get there, there's a high probability we won't get much further, because on average, we don't get much further than that. So if you're long on it and you hit ADR, get out, because it's likely there's going to be no more buying available because the market hasn't got an endless supply of cash. We have an average daily range on every instrument we trade. So they're just levels. You can't trade all of them, but you need to know where they are. So we're going short at the moment on the DAX. And this is why I said, if we go short, we're either going to hit that level and bounce, or we're going to push down into there. What have we done? We've hit that level and we've bounced. Why? Because that's what happened last time. It's not rocket science. What did they do yesterday? Right. Well, if they're going to did that yesterday, there's a reason So let's have a look at what happens when we get there today. Likelihood is the same thing will happen because the market spends 80% of its time in a range and 20% of its time breaking out. All the time it's in a range, it's attempting to break out of that level, find an area of new trading or new, what we call price discovery, to see if we can trade at different prices. What usually happens is they go, nah, we don't want to. And you come back and they go, right, let's try down here. Nah, don't want to. And we come back and it will overshoot the ranges, which is what some people call a stop run, and find balance. What the banks, if you go into a bank, if you listen to, if you go and sit on a speculative desk in a bank, or you speak to bankers that have worked on prop desks or spec desks in banks, you'll hear very different terminology. They use the word balance. Yeah, the market is in equilibrium. The market is in balance. Yeah, all they're referring to is that we've got an area where we can make money by accumulating orders and distributing them back to the people we bought them from. Yeah, so we buy something and then we sell it back to you at a better price. You, the mug, have taken a loss on that. That's what the banks do. That's their job. Take something, drive it to a different level, and take it back from you for more money than they bought it for. Who's the mug? Retail traders. That's what they do. This is why you don't trade Globex, because during Globex, what is happening is the bank's algorithms that are designed to do that are literally just doing that. They're accumulating, distributing orders. So we need to know where they're accumulating, distributing from. Yeah. So you're looking for areas of balance. People call them accumulations, ranges, call it what you like. It's the market going sideways, waiting for that explosive move where the banks make their move to make money. When they go long, they have to get short to get out. Yeah, this is what we call a push or extension. And this is why we use RSI on FX. We're looking for signs that the bank has made their move, because after the bank's made their move, they need to take profit. To take profit, they need to flip the order from a buy to a sell. So they become sellers. Yeah. So it's just about finding where are they going to do that. There. Why did they do that? Why did that bounce? There. Because it bounced there before. Yeah, it's never exact, but that area there is where the sellers were trying to break, and they finally made it. The buyers then tried to win the position back to get back to balance, and the sellers overpowered them. The next time the buyers tried to get back there, the sellers overpowered them. Why? Because they did last time. Because that's where they're selling from. They're selling from there again. Now they're trying to sell from there again. Yeah, it's just the way the market moves. All it is buyers and sellers in banks pushing stocks up and down. We just need to know whereabouts they're looking to push them up and down from. So I know that if I get into a position and I go long and it breaks that high there on the NASDAQ today, where's it going to go today? There. Why? Because that's where it turned last time. It could also turn in that propulsion gap, because that's where it turned last time. It could turn in that propulsion gap because it's where it turned last time. So when I go long, I'm looking for price action to give me clues as to get out of my position there, or there. 3 targets to the upside. If it goes down, I'm looking for price action in that propulsion gap, failing that, somewhere down at ADR today. Or yesterday's low. Because that is where we're likely to flush to. Think of price like a car. You've got walls, right? These are 3 walls. You're driving your car this way at the moment, right? When you hit these walls, you don't know whether they're made of paper, whether they're made of cardboard, or whether they're made of concrete. You're going to drive towards them and you're going to find out when you hit it. You don't know which of these is the concrete wall. So you need to see, if you stop there abruptly, that's probably a concrete wall. If you fly through it, it's made of paper or cardboard, isn't it? That's what we see when we get to these price levels. That today on the DAX, the reason this looked like it might be a support is because we hit it. Yeah. Look at these candles. Big black body, big black body, big black body, big wick to the upside, big wick to the upside. You've just hit a concrete wall. Bounced off of that concrete wall. We're going to run it again. What do? We hit that concrete wall and we bounce off of it. What's this telling you? There's not enough sellers in the market to drive the price lower. There's more buyers than sellers. So where are we likely to go next? Where to? Where the sellers started moving. These propulsion gaps. It's just reading the market and thinking where you could go. Every time you get to one of these levels, your opportunity is 50%. You still don't know whether it's going to bounce there or not. Yeah, just because there's one wick that bounced off of it doesn't mean the next candle is not going to be bearish and they're going to drive through it. It means at this point in time, in this 5-minute candle, there were more buyers than sellers. Doesn't mean there aren't going to be more sellers stepping in on the next candle and drive straight through there. We have no clue. You've always got a 50% chance every time you place an order. But if you place an order at a previous support or resistance level, any line on the chart where price has reacted before, you've got a higher probability of price bouncing. That's why we don't take trades from the middle of a range. We take trades from the extremes of ranges. If you take a trade from the middle of a range, you've got a 50% chance up and down. If you take a trade from the bottom of a range, you've still got a 50% chance up and down, but you've got reasons to go long which are more prevalent than going short. So the odds are in your favor. So you might have a 55, 60% chance of that bounce happening rather than 50. If you can do that, you've suddenly got a profitable strategy, haven't you? Why was I going into that waffle anyway? What was that question? It was a good one because it made me waffle. But anyway, but yeah, pre-market lows and highs. Yeah, so that's why they're marked. Yeah. So the pre-market low today that you see here, if price pushes up into that and it bounces off of it, this is where the selling started today. I've got a propulsion gap in there, obviously, and with the support resistance propulsion indicator, which highlights that order anyway. But that is the same thing. That propulsion gap is pre-market low because today we had a big sell out of the pre-market low, didn't we? GJ? Sound like a horse. No idea. Not going anywhere, is it? Look at these weekly lows. So this is last week's low. That is 3 week ago's low. That is 2 week ago's low. All week we've been sitting around there. I've no idea where this is going. It's not going anywhere, is it? Just not going anywhere. Story of our lives at the moment. Making money on H1 and H4 timeframes at the moment is just like pulling teeth. You need to trade chop at the minute because the market's not moving. So it's obviously massively bullish. So with every single yen pair at the moment, we're reliant on the US dollar yen to give us clues. So the US dollar yen, if it pushes above that level, the Japanese will start to get concerned about negative yen strength against the US dollar because most of their exports are in US dollar and to the US. So it's not in their interest for the US dollar yen to rally against them. That's what tends to happen when we get to certain levels and the Japanese say we don't like it. So we're going to find similar sorts of movement coming across all yen pairs. So if this US dollar rallies, then all yen pairs will drop. Everything will drop against the yen. The yen will power up at some point. But on the US dollar yen, we're looking somewhere probably between here and the 150 level for that intervention to kick in. So if we break that level, I would say you want to be short everything yen. Long term, 5 minute chart, do what you like. It's going to go anywhere it wants to. 5 minute chart's got very little to do with anything to do with price movement. It's just chop. So, Lawrence, can you please look at oil? So oil yesterday, we had the oil inventories come out yesterday, as we always do on a Wednesday, 3:30. We got an absolute chop fest yesterday. We actually ended up on a down day yesterday, marginally. But yesterday's candle basically looks something like that. In fact, it looks exactly like that because I've just drawn it. So it's a doji yesterday. We didn't go anywhere. So that is a reversal or a pause candle. So we've broken out of the highs and we're holding. I was looking for a pullback to get in long on the 24.72. We haven't got it. So oil is a long, definitely a long. You want to be buying oil, but whether you want to be buying oil from here I don't know. This is the area we went into accumulation. I was looking for a pullback down into this area to go long. It hasn't happened. It's just broken out again on oil inventories, on the news that the Saudis were going to extend their oil production cap. Oil inventories yesterday did nothing. So we got a reversal alert in there yesterday, and it's just retested, but it's not going anywhere. I think there's potential for this just to keep grinding up. So target on this is $95 a barrel. Can't see it on there. This is what the institutions have called as target this year. We've got 3 months to get to it now. 2.5 months, really. So, yeah. But whether or not it's going to pull back, I almost want to take a position trade on this. I just can't really find an opportunity to hit the button. And I've been stung on oil. So that high there, which is that previous month's high, that is a really good support area, because by the time we get there, if we were to get there, it's going to take days, because that's 225 ADR away from where we are at the moment. So it's going to take a few days to get there. If it can get there, it's going to be a beautiful 24 bounce. So a similar sort of price action to this. So that is where I would love to take a trade, somewhere down here. I don't think we're going to get there. So if you measure this move, that would be a 38 to 50 retracement. That's where I would like to get in. If I take a position here now, let's say I take a breakout position here now, I'm getting in when we're extended, which means if it does do that pullback, I'm going to have to scale in 4 or 5 positions on oil before it actually gets a point where it's going to start to move. Then it could sit there and go sideways for a couple of weeks before it starts the next leg. So I just don't really want to buy it. I don't buy anything when it's rallying. I buy it when it's pulling back. Yeah. So not in the right spot for me at the moment, but it's a long, and it could just go. It's one of those, this is where, when I say in the boot camp, one of the biggest problems traders have is FOMO. Yeah, there's loads of problems. We all know everybody's got all the problems. And one of them is FOMO. One of them's trying to pick the top and the bottom. One of them's trying to time your trades. There's loads of things that we do wrong all the time, which I cover in the boot camp on day 1. But FOMO is one of those. This is an absolute textbook FOMO trade. So breakout, missed it. It's pulled back. Excellent. I'm going to get in. What you haven't realized is you're getting in on the top of a rally. Yeah. Market structure means we get pullbacks. You're getting in at the top just before it pullbacks. And everyone goes, why is it every time I press the button, it goes the other way? Because you're getting in after it's moved. You've missed it. Wait for the next one. Yeah, you've missed that bus. And that bus, if that just keeps driving away and never comes back and picks you up, tough. Do not get in up here. If you want to get in up there, yes, it could go that way, but the probabilities are much more likely of getting some kind of pullback, because the market can't sustain a rally without building up power, and it needs to sell off these orders to get that power to push it back further up. So just not in the right spot at the minute. But yeah, US dollar, where's my euro US dollar? Just going to see how this is getting on. It's pulling back a little bit, but hopefully it's going to use my entry as a support today. Be nice, wouldn't it? Okay, that's all I've got for you today. So made some nice money on the DAX this morning. 3K on that move, which I'm pretty thankful for today. I think that was a result. I wasn't expecting even to get that today, so that's nice. So this afternoon, obviously I'll be back on for the New York session. We'll obviously look at the other indices, but I'm going to take a decision on the other indices after I've seen the price action this afternoon. So don't forget, 1:15 to 2 o'clock this afternoon, all hell is going to break loose. So if the US markets have put in huge moves before the open, I probably don't want to get involved because I think it will have probably run its course today. So I will have a look at the opens, have a look at the range sizes pre-market, and just see, I think that's the wrong server. No, it's the wrong one. And see how we get on. But I'll make a decision this afternoon on that. I didn't even cover the overnight news. There isn't any. There wasn't any. I scanned through it quickly. All we had was the Australian unemployment. We had some machine orders from Japan, but that was it for overnight stuff. So there was no overnight news to worry about. Yeah. Will Forex still continue to trade in digital currency? I don't know what you mean. If you mean cryptocurrency, crypto's dead. Crypto's had its day. It'll still be around, but it's not taken over. If you think about it, all currencies are digital, yeah? When's the last time you used money? Yeah, I don't use cash anymore. Every time I get cash, it stays in my wallet for months because I never have an opportunity to use it. Half the people I go and buy stuff from in the real world don't take cash. We're a cashless society. Digital currency is still currency. We're trading the currency markets. We're not trading cash markets. So as long as people need to buy and sell stuff, they need their currency. And as long as people need to buy and stuff from overseas, there will be exchange rates. As long as there's exchange rates, the FX markets are not going anywhere. Nothing's going to change in that respect. They're not driven by cash. M2 money supply, which is the amount of money printed in the US, that has an impact on fundamentals and has an impact on US dollar movement. But all you'll see is M2 money supply being less important in the fundamentals. M2 money supply is one of the key elements that the banks use in their scorecarding system. How much money supply is out there? Because the Fed print money to make money. Yeah. So when we have less money available out there, the M2 money supply drops. The Fed will just stop printing it. So that will have less impact on the fundamentals, but it won't change the difference in exchange rates between two currencies. That is a transaction to change one into the other. Currency movement is controlled by whether or not you're going to get good return on investment in that currency. If one country's got a 10% interest rate and the other country's got a 1% interest rate, where do you want to put your money? There. That's what drives the markets, the fundamentals. So that digital currency, I don't think it's going to do anything. But crypto, I haven't looked at crypto for a while. Let's have a quick look at crypto while we're here. Yeah. Dead crypto, not really doing much. Ridiculous boom and crash. Dead crypto, not really doing much. Go back here. There's absolutely no reason for this to go. This was the bubble bursting. Some people are using crypto, but it's just not, it's not got taken up. The take up might change over decades, yeah, as the younger generation, but my kids haven't got any interest in this. They don't have crypto wallets. They don't transact in crypto. And until shops start accepting this, generally, think Amazon, right? Until that starts happening, this thing has got no chance. Yeah. If you cannot buy a car in it, you cannot buy a house in it, you cannot buy your everyday goods in it, and you cannot buy your food, groceries in it, you cannot use it. Yeah. If you are a drug dealer, an arms dealer, or you are part of the Russian mafia, happy days. But other than that, dead. Yeah. Elon Musk started taking it for Tesla. He stopped. Why? No one wanted to buy it. No one wanted to use it to buy a Tesla. What's the point? It's not going to happen. Well, it's happened and it's gone. That's it. We've missed it. Stop trying to get into it if you are. Still a load of people selling crypto courses and all that sort of stuff. But Can you please explain how many VM you have and testing in? I'll write it down so I don't ask again. How many VM you have? I don't even know what that means, Rajiv. What's that mean? What's my thoughts on Euro New Zealand? Not a lot today. So basically, whatever you do on the Euro right now, today, this afternoon at 1:15 to 2 o'clock, it's going to go mental. So there's no point in doing analysis on it. I'll ask you the question. Is the interest rate going to go up or down today? And is Lagarde going to be bullish or bearish in her statement at 1:45? There's your answer. That's what's going to happen. I don't know. Unusual suspect, because it's like gold. A store of value, only 21 million. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not trading it. I never have traded it. I've got some of it, but we'll see. Future will tell. I believe you are using an EA per VM. Individual countries have their own digital coin now. Yeah, that's not taken off either yet. Virtual machines. Oh, you mean VPSs? I've got 3 VPSs. You can buy everything with it. I can't. I can't walk into my local Sainsbury's, Jay, and go, do you take crypto? The person on the counter goes, what? Yeah. I spend £2,000-3,000 a month in the supermarkets. They do not take crypto. Therefore, I have no use for it. What are your biggest expenditures? Mortgage, car payment, petrol, groceries. None of them take crypto. Is it going to take off? No. Why do you think it's collapsed? It's crashed. It's a bubble. It was a scam. A load of people made a load of money out of it. The bloke that invented Bitcoin is a multi-quadrillionaire. He's done all right. Everybody else lost all their money. It's a black market currency, as Romus just said, yeah. Like I say, if you're a drug dealer, right, if I want to go and buy a load of guns, I'll buy it in crypto. Why? Because it's completely untraceable. I'm not going to go buy a load of guns because I don't buy guns. I don't want to buy guns or drugs. It's a black market currency. It's like, it's for, if you don't want someone to know about it, you use crypto. That's it. You want to buy all the shops that, that sell bongs and ganja seeds and all that sort of stuff. They all take crypto. Funny that, isn't it? What was I talking about in the real world? Yeah, so I don't know why you want to know how many VPSs I've got. What's that matter? I don't understand the question. I have many VPSs. So I was just going to run through the EA. So the market reverse alerts EA. H4M5 mean reversion, 0.59 drawdown, 2.31% this month. H1 hedge, that's the hedging account, done 15.5% this month, 13% DD, which is always in 10 to 20% DD. That's where it lives. That's my account, not doing anything much, and 15% off of ADR reversals, sitting in 3% drawdown. So ADR reversals this month is the baby. But yeah, I've got 3 VPSs. I don't see how that helps you, Rajiv. If you're asking how many, I would like to emulate the testing. Right, so well, this VPS has got 4 accounts, 4 MT4s running on it. One running, it's running my strategies. So ADR reversals, H1M5 mean reversion, H1 hedging, and H4M5 mean reversion. And the set files are all in Telegram. That's what you're asking. Crypto people are convinced the next cycle is going to shoot Bitcoin over 100K. It might do. I have no idea. if you look at the crypto market, right? So look at this. I'll draw it in. All right, so that is Bitcoin on the daily chart. Look at the the DOW, and look at this sort of movement. The way this is moving now, crypto seems to have linked itself with the indices to a certain extent. It's kind of mimicking, in a way, what the indices do. When we get rallies on the indices, crypto tends to push up a bit. Not quite as pronounced now as it has been in the past. It's closer to the DOW, but it's more of a fallen in line with what the US dollar is doing, which is basically the indexes do the inverse of the US dollar. So it's fallen in line with the US dollar a little bit. For me, nobody has been able to really explain to me, and I've asked a few people in the banking sector and general, basically, why did it do that? And then why did it do that? Yeah. And then why did it do that? And why did it do that? Yeah. Look at when it did that. Look at when COVID happened. Yeah. But no one can explain to me why that goes up. It's a supply and demand thing. People seem to be scrabbling to get hold of something that has a finite supply, right? But is devaluing in price. There's less of it available now to mine, and price is not going up. Why would it possibly go up more? No one can explain to me what drives this. I know exactly what drives the stock markets. I know exactly what drives gold. I know exactly what drives every FX transaction. No one can explain to me why Bitcoin did what it did. It was a gold rush, basically, is all I can figure out. And it's over. Yeah, it's very, very, very similar to all other bubbles we've ever had. The tech bubble looked very similar with the NASDAQ. The housing crash and the financial crash bubbles looked very similar. Yeah, COVID looked similar. Yeah, it's a crash and recovery. This has a reason. Bitcoin doesn't have a reason, and no one can tell me what it is, why it did what it did. Yeah, it just kept going up and up and up. People were making these huge mines in Iceland to mine this thing with CPUs, spending thousands and thousands an hour on electricity bills. For what? So they could have more of this thing that devalued in price back to what it was before it popped. They've all lost billions. Literally. Nobody in the Bitcoin market has made a fortune out of Bitcoin. They might have done, and if they did, they lost it all. No one can show me a P&L from any crypto that is actually working. Nobody trades crypto live. Why? They're not making any money. I don't know. Maybe I'm too old. I just can't figure it out. I can't figure out the advantage in it. The underlying tech, blockchain, is what the next financial system might be run on. Might it? Might be. It might also be run on AI. Yeah, technology changes. Bitcoin's old news. Blockchain is old, and it hasn't taken off. Yeah, it's a really stupid analogy. Think of VHS and Betamax when there was a big let's go and buy videos. One of them's got to win. Yeah, they're coming through trying to take over the financial markets. They failed. Why do you think they're going to have another go at it? Doesn't make any sense to me. Nothing's going to beat this. The world has revolved on this thing for 200 years. And there is no reason for me to hold this other thing. There's no reason for me to have a Bitcoin wallet because I cannot spend it anywhere that I want to shop, me and in 90% of the human race. That's basically what I'm saying. Yes, of course you can go and buy a load of crap. 90% of your transactions that you make on a daily basis, your mortgage, you cannot use it. So until the banks adopt, there is no hope for it, unless it takes over the banking system and the banks all go bankrupt. In which case, then what the hell is going to happen to the world? happened, is it? think moment using EA per account. Thanks, got it. Thick moment. Oh, sorry, right. Thick moment. Yeah. Having the supply caused bull run. Yeah. I don't know. Bitcoin has a bull run every 4 years with mining supply halves. What do you mean Bitcoin has a run every 4 years? It's not 4 years old. How can you possibly say that? Right? Look at this. The run started, I would say probably there. 22nd of October, 2020. Yeah, we're in 2023. How can you say it's got a bull run every 4 years? It's only done it once, and that was less than 4 years ago. Don't get it. Too old. Can't be asked. I make 6 figures a year doing this. I can't be bothered. I really can't be bothered. I don't know enough about it to argue about it. So I'll let you all carry on. If you want to trade it, trade it. I'm not. AI is still an infant. I know. I'm worried about what happens when it grows up. Bitcoin was created in 2009. Yeah, I know. I'm usual suspect. If you want to go and trade it, trade it. Not here. I'm not going to trade it. The blockchain to run finance with AI to regulate those transactions. This is what I mean. Nobody in their right mind in the financial world is going to put any money into something that doesn't exist, is not tangible, and can vanish, right? That bloke that put $100,000 or whatever it was worth of crypto onto a solid state drive so that he had a crypto wallet on his drive, and it got thrown in the bin, and he spent years, hasn't he, going through the rubbish trying to find this thing. Who in their right mind is going to put something into 100 grand that you can store in something that small that you could accidentally drop and the dog could eat and go and put it out in a field? Seriously. Not going to happen. Not safe. That's proven it. What happened? The guys that were buying crypto at the top there, they lost their houses, they lost their families, they lost everything. There's a guy on YouTube that was saying last year, back here, I am going to, where was it? It was July, where are we? September 21. Back here. I'm going to take out a loan. He'd lost over $1 million. He made $1 million and lost $1 million in crypto. He was taking out loans to buy more crypto here. I haven't heard from him since. Do it. If you want to take a break of that high, take a break of that high. But don't expect it to do that. Expect it to do that. Just a normal thing now. It's a US dollar cross at the end of the day. In my opinion, which is obviously not everybody else's opinion. So I don't know enough about it. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I'll be back this afternoon at 2:20 to trade something that real that I understand that moves. And that is US indices. So we'll see how we get on. But 1:15 this afternoon, it's all going to start to move. So, and guess what? Crypto will as well. Everything will move this afternoon. So we'll see how we get on with this news. I'll be back at 2:20 to trade the US session. We'll try and see if we can pick apart what's happened. I've got very little exposure on, so I'm not really bothered what happens this afternoon. I would love to see the US dollar drop, just from my perspective, because I've got exposure short. But other than that, I don't think there's a lot going to happen, really, until 1:15. So we will see how we go there. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50, same time for the Frankfurt session. But anything else you need, let me know. I'll be in Telegram. So come and join the Telegram group if you're not already in it. And then, yeah, we'll see how we can get on this afternoon and make some more money. All right, so have a good day. Anything you need, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you guys this afternoon or tomorrow morning. Have a good one.